Hi, welcome to Lady Overlander Radio. Tonight we're speaking with Virgil and Steph of Northbound Expeditions. Stay tuned. Grab your favorite drink, whether it's a coffee, cocktail, or tea, and get ready. It's Ladies' Night on Lady Overlander Radio. The Lady Overlander Radio podcast is sponsored by CB Adventure Supply, Midland Radio, Go Treads, Overland Spices, The Moore Expo, Wildland Coffee, Adventure Trail Outfitters, Lifesaver Water Filters, Sea Sucker Camp, and Sport Keg. Woo! Hey, Arla.
Hey, girl. Hey. What's happening? What's you up to?
Not much. Just celebrating my twins' 14th birthday. My boy-girl twins, and they're turning the big 1-4 today. So we're out as a family celebrating.
Looks like you're doing a podcast to me.
I can't believe they're that old.
I'll trade you a 13-year-old.
Well, I am doing a podcast too on top of that, but No. Nope. I got two 14-year-olds and a 12-year-old. I am all good.
I'm all good. Look who's already on.
All good.
Truck. Hello.
Hey, old man, old truck. How are you?
Always on here first.
All right. So tonight we are chatting with Virgil and Steph of Northbound Expeditions. They're based in Canada, and they run a off-road expedition type business, and they also have products that they sell. So we're here to talk with them tonight about a little bit of everything and find out where they came from, what they're doing, and where they're going with everything. Welcome, guys.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Virgil, why don't you give me a little bit of background on yourself, and then we'll jump over to Steph, and she can give a little background on herself.
All right. So I'm actually from Europe. I grew up in Europe, and I moved to Canada when I was 19, which is now age myself here, but 22 years ago. So I never left. So I just stayed here, and then kind of the plan was to go to university and go back home after that, go to Europe. And I just never did. So still here. And then the business started basically 2016. Initially, I kicked off. I had, before my Jeep, I had a Pathfinder. Started going out exploring a little bit here and there. I was always into this whole concept of, overland travel. I didn't know that's what it was called. I was just at some point, my mother, when I lived with her, I was at university. She had a Grand Cherokee, and so I just took that and just threw a tent in the back and a cooler, and then went to explore Cape Breton, for example, which was technically this was like 2004 or 5, overlanding, but no one called it that. Didn't know that was a thing,
right?
But I enjoyed it anyway. So then I got back into it in like 2014-ish with my Pathfinder, and then when I got the Jeep, I was like, okay. A lot of people asking me to come out with me, go on trips and stuff. So I started organizing just trail runs, basically, under the name East Coast Overland. That kind of just grew into Northbound Expeditions in 2018 when we expanded and started making products as well. There was a need, there's products on the market that were really expensive or others that didn't exist. And so just look, we can probably make this either better quality or cheaper for ourselves, basically. And then people started like, hey, can I have one? Can I have one? And then just started growing and making products from there too. And so whenever there's a need that comes up, we identify a niche in the market, we'll either make it or customer asks for something specific, and then I turn it into a product that we carry. And that kind of brings us to today.
Nice. Bats Off-Road says, love the garb.
Awesome.
Yes,
Sweet.
He does.
We're going to circle back to the garb in just a second, but I want to hear from Steph. Steph, why don't you give us a little bit of background on yourself?
Yeah, so I come from Quebec. I got for work. I came here in New Brunswick 5 years ago. And I met Virgil last year, and he brought me on one of his adventure, and I fell in love with overlanding. And I didn't have a Jeep at the time. I had a Subaru, and I just fell in love with that. And I was like, no, I need to trade my Subaru for a Jeep. So I bought my Jeep, and I'm just following Virgil since then, and I really enjoy it. It's really nice.
Yeah, she had a cross track, and then we considered just building a cross track into a rig, an overland rig, basically. Which there's plenty of them on Instagram and stuff. You can see they're nicely built. But then there's some trails to do here, like Turtle Mountain, for example. Like there's just no way that it could do that, no matter how much you build it. So on one trip we did, I gave her I have two Jeeps, my second Jeep to take out, Savage, Black JL. And I was in fury as usual. And then, she was like, I love this. So
and I look at him and I said, no, I'm going to buy a Jeep. Defensively,
I said, that's okay. You can use my second Jeep if you want. I have two. Like, you can use it. She's like, nope, I want my own.
Yeah, I want
girl.
Right on.
It's addictive.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So
before we talk about the garb, let's talk about each of you. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, I was just going to say it wasn't long from that day until she actually found a Jeep and came home with it like pretty quickly. Like she didn't waste any time on this.
Less than 1 month.
Yeah. She knew what she wanted.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So tell us about your Jeep, Steph.
Oh, it's a GK 2017 Rubicon, and I bought it like pretty stock, and we changed. I think we started with the fender. And after that, we changed the tires, I think, for
the rims.
The rims. We put a bumper and a winch that I tried last video, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So, I really love my Jeep the way it is now.
Yeah, it had a huge lift. So when she bought it, it had on 37s, and it was lifted. About 6 inches or so, 4 inches of suspension and 2 inches of body lift. And when but it had the factory rims, so it looked really awkward, really narrow and skinny and tall. And so I was like, that needs to go right away. So the first thing we did is we bought rims, more offset rims, to make it wider, look like a proper Jeep. I went on a trip in Gaspésie, and due to the body lift, there was a hydraulic, no, not hydraulic. What was it now? It was
my transmission line.
Yeah, sorry, the transmission fluid line was rubbing against the steering box because the lift had raised it up to the point where it was no longer free. Normally in factory, they had about 2 inches space between, and with the lift, it was rubbing against it. So like all the vibrations of the road kind of just chewed away at it and caused a leak in the line. And so that's during the trip. So when we came back from the trip, which we did by constantly filling up her transmission fluid pretty much every 30 minutes.
And Gaspésie is pretty far from home, like 8 or 9 hours from here. So
that's about 1,000
brutal.
Yeah, so as soon as we arrived back here,
trip.
As soon as we got back, we scheduled an appointment with 4 Wheel Parts, and we asked them to remove the body lift. And so now it's 4 inches, sits perfectly. And it's dialed in now.
Much better.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So tell us about your two rigs. You talked about a green Jeep and a black Jeep.
Yeah. So I got Fury, 2012 JK. Was actually started out as a Sahara, but I got pretty much everything swapped out of it. Axles, I got 44, rock chalk 44 in the front and the factory in the rear, but like with the 488 gears. I got ARB air lockers front and rear. My rear one is not working right now, which has been going on for a little while, and it's been in a lot of videos. I've been struggling with my lockers, so I got to replace that. I got the Gobi rack on it, and I had quite a few tents on it so far. Currently, I got one from Sky Tent. They're sponsoring the channel. Gave me a really good deal on it that I couldn't refuse. Before that, I had the Explorer Adventure Gear tent, which was awesome, and I still have it, and I love that tent as well. So Fury is really, really built, really heavy. The kitchen in the back especially makes it extremely heavy, but it's just so convenient to have that with the slide-out fridge, slide-out everything, table, stove, all that stuff. So all the supplies, it makes packing so much easier. I'm not having to pack all the kitchen accessories every time you go out. Just packing clothes, food basically in a sleeping bag, and you're good to go. It's my other one is a 2021 JL, also which is actually Rubicon. It's black. It's wrapped also in black. In retrospect, I should have wrapped a different color, but this way you can't tell it's wrapped. So I just wrapped it to protect it. So it's that one's on 35s with KMC wheels and a 2-inch Mopar lift. Other than that, it's basically stock.
So it's your daily driver.
Yeah.
But I go on trail sometimes.
Yeah,
if I just go out for the day, I like to go on trails. But overnight trips is always Fury.
Yeah.
Almost always.
You mentioned the kitchen in the back being heavy. Did you put any airbags in the back of your suspension yet, or?
No, I didn't.
What about that?
I have 6-inch heavy-duty coils in the back and 4-inch in the front. So the rear lift is supposed to kind of counter the weight of the kitchen and makes it sit level.
Nice.
That makes sense.
And we've got
very nice.
Joey, the Brofessor, the other half of the Professor Bats and Friends. They both talking about how much they love their garb bags.
Yeah. Awesome.
These boys.
All right, so let's talk about the garb since Joey and Tony want to talk about it. So
I know, we're going to have to get onto it.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about it.
Okay. So that's a bit of an evolution. So this one is now the Garb 2.1. That's the current and latest edition. They're all made the same, kind of the same concept. Heavy duty materials, 1000 denier Cordura, with North American materials. They're handmade, designed and tested in-house. And so the first version was pretty basic, just essentially replacing a trasheroo. No functions beyond that. Now the new ones, you got more pockets, you got other features as well, like traction board, straps in the lid, so that when you carry traction boards, a lot of people don't know where to put them, or don't have mounts on a roof rack, or jerry rig them somehow. So this gives you a place to put them and store them easily, have them easily accessible when you need them. They're secure there, and you don't lose the capacity of, you don't lose the function of the garbage bag itself. So it's designed to hold two full-size bags side by side, a garbage bag and a recycling bag, hence the name GARB, which stands for garbage and recycling bag. And so left is garbage and right, whichever you want, but I have it left and right just because, by the name and so my brain works. So that way I always know where to put stuff. So if I go camping, I put all the empty cans in the right side and the garbage in the left side. And so before we had like D-rings to tie a bag to, which was really cumbersome, and then I had to just rip the bag after to take it out. And so I wanted a new way of doing that, improved way, and now it just snaps because the plastic of the bags is obviously so thin. Of the garbage bags, you can just snap it in and then they stay in place very easily. And it has a divider in the middle, which is removable with Velcro, so you can choose to use it or not. You either have one big compartment or have two separate ones if you wish. You can have, use it for waste on one side or store the other side. It's strong enough to carry a whole bunch of wood or any other supplies, wetsuits, anything you want to keep outside of the vehicle that either smells or is dirty or just need access to off and on. And so quite often as we drive on trail, we just pick up empty beer cans usually. Yeah, typically Bud Lights. Yes.
Yeah.
There was Bud Lights.
Yeah, that's true.
And then just toss them in the bag as we go.
Yeah. Now you also have a tailgate bag for a truck.
Yes. Okay. So that's the new one because of the Gladiators primarily. A lot of Tacomas also, they always ask, well, I don't have a spare tire. How can I mount this bag? And because the mounting system is unique, where the straps are separate from the bag itself, you could mount. People have done it where they mount the regular garb on the tailgate, but it's really big and looks a bit awkward. So we made one size to the tailgate specific, and it works really well. Especially now with the added feature where the tailgate, when it falls down, you don't want to have the bag hanging underneath it, but you want the bag just to dangle down and be straight down, so you can still toss your stuff into it and use it. And so with the mounting system, the clips on the bottom being quick release, it's super easy to do, and it's the way to go.
Very cool. And are you able to separate recycling and regular trash in as well?
It doesn't have a divider, and it's smaller, so I mean, you still can. You just won't fit as much. Yeah, you won't fit as much, but you still can if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen the tailgate version, so I wasn't sure. Yeah, I think it's great that you guys up other people's trash, though. There's a lot of times that we've been out and about and we found tons and tons of trash, and sometimes you don't have anywhere to put it. And so even if you don't make a lot of trash yourself, it's nice to have something like that, available in case you have to clean up after others.
Exactly. Pretty much every time if we don't stay at the campsite.
Do you guys types of products? Oh, I'm sorry. I think there's a delay tonight.
Yeah, there's a delay.
Go ahead.
So most of the times if we do stay at a campsite or at a site where people have camped before, we always end up cleaning up before, because it's typically most people don't, or a lot of people don't, unfortunately, clean up. So it's the first thing we do, and that's why everyone that comes on our trips, the only requirement is you got to have a guard. I don't charge anyone any money to come along with us, like a lot of people do charge, but we don't charge anything. Just have a guard and do the diligence, help clean up, and don't leave anything behind.
That's pretty awesome. That's a pretty good value. Being able to go on a trip like that and just have to have a guard. That's pretty awesome. So what is your upcoming year looking like? Do you guys have any kind of special events planned, or any? I'm sure you have a few trips planned. Are you going to any expos or visiting any other kind of events happening?
Yeah. I wish we had the time to go to expos. Being on the East Coast here in New Brunswick, they're all really, really far away. So that kind of is the downturn.
Yeah.
Living out here and driving so far to attend an expo. But yeah, so we started kind of something out here for ourselves. It's called the Overlander Rendezvous, which we'll be hosting on Tiny Trails. It's a campground here in New Brunswick that hosts mountain bikes primarily, because it's really close to mountain bike trails. And a friend of mine, the owner, he's also Corey, has been in quite a few videos. He's also an avid overlander, and so we do this every year now, and hopefully starting to grow this a little bit too, and start bringing some vendors in. But yeah, no, we don't really attend others so far, but I would love to go to Overland Expo at some point, and I'm sure we will. But for now, we have one trip planned, and I'll tell you why it's a little bit different this year. But one trip planned we wanted to go to Cape Breton actually. And I made a plan for Cape Breton, everything mapped out. And while it would be a really beautiful trip, it would be primarily all pavement. There's not a hell of a lot that you can do off-road. I mean, there's some, and we could get off the beaten path a little bit, but primarily it wouldn't really be the typical sort of adventures that we do. And part of what I'm going to talk about plays into the reason why we changed. And that's because actually we're posted to Nova Scotia this year. So we're moving provinces. And so instead of moving further away again from Gaspésie, and we really want to go back because there's so much left that we haven't done in Quebec yet, in Gaspésie. So we really want to go back. And so we'll go back this year instead. So that's the plan. We'll go for a week-long trip, return to Gaspésie, and it's incredible. If you think there's a lot here in New Brunswick, and there is, Gaspésie is like New Brunswick on steroids. It's incredible. Yeah, and so because we're gonna move provinces this year, that's why we kind of got to cut down a little bit on what we can do in terms of time, and plus then I have a family reunion I got to go to in BC as well. It's gonna take another week of my time, and only have so much annual time I can take off from my work. So trips this year will be somewhat limited.
Yeah, it kind of stinks when work gets in the way of fun.
Yes, totally.
Adulting. It's no bueno.
I know. I don't recommend 0 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So
has there been anything? Oh, go ahead.
So on a quick note here, just Greg McManus, I saw where he posted today that he is going to be reaching out probably for one of your bags because he's not happy with his current bag as much. So he's looking for something that's a little more durable and stuff. And he saw Tony at Bats Off Road's Tailgater one, and he liked it real well. And on another note, that's the best feature on that is, like you said, when it drops down, when you put the tailgate down and the bag drops down, that's awesome when you're at camp.
Very nice.
Yeah, I saw him a note there saying we should come to More Expo. I've been eyeballing More Expo for a while too. I'd love to go, and again, all comes down to time. And 1 year we're gonna make it.
We will be there. It's in 2 weeks from tomorrow is when we will get there and start checking in. I just realized that.
Oh, wow.
Freaking out now.
Yes.
So that's a great show. It's I think this is the 4th year, and it has grown leaps and bounds every year. It's at a big fairgrounds in Springfield, Missouri, and it started off just being part of this one building, and it has just taken over the entire building, and then now it's outside as well. Just more and more vendors keep coming every year, and storytellers and whatnot. So if you do get a chance to, it isn't as bad as they drive because it's in the Midwest. Instead of going all the way out west.
Springfield, Missouri, you say? I'm going to Google that here real quick.
Springfield, Missouri. Yep. It's a great time. It really is. Lots of vendors, bands, all kinds of things. Chris Holloway does a great job on that.
Oops.
Well, tell Steph about the Overland Lounge.
We are actually doing the Lady Overlander Ladies Lounge.
Oh, that's cool.
At More Expo. So we're going to be doing some classes and safety training and whatnot for the ladies. So that'll be happening all weekend. This year, last year we had a round table, and then this year Chris asked us if we would do something a little different. So we're kind of taking over the back corner of the building, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
2,000 kilometers away.
That's close, right?
Yeah, it's only 27 hours of straight driving. No problem.
Wow. That's how I feel about Pacific Northwest from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord.
That something like that would just take a month-long trip for us to do, basically, to make it worthwhile and explore the area too.
Tony's asking Virgil, what's your favorite camp meal? And that could also be Steph, because I know you guys tear it up.
Yeah, so sometimes I've been just bringing my the Good Food meal kits that I get daily delivered to my house once per week, and they're just super convenient to bring because everything is that you need is in it. It's compact and has instructions, so can't really screw it up. But if you don't really have a kitchen, my favorite is basically just pasta, bacon, eggs, and cheese.
Ooh.
It's something that I made. I think it was in one pot, basically. I made it last time in Gaspésie, and everyone loved it. So it's super easy to make. It's convenient. Lots of protein, lots of carbs, so lots of energy.
I'm in.
That sounds amazing.
I'm in.
For myself, nothing better than meat on fire. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
My
Nice.
favorite.
Meat on fire.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Do you ever notice that you eat better when you're out camping than you do when you're at home?
Pretty similar, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes that's true, but we pretty good at home, I gotta say. And again, it comes down to having those meal kits delivered.
Yeah.
If I had to decide and go get groceries and shop and decide what to make every day, it'd be 3 meals on a rotation. So yeah, that would be true probably.
I mean, that's pretty good too. Sometimes makes it easy.
Yeah.
That's true.
Not a lot of selection, but it makes it easy sometimes when you're out there for a while.
Yeah.
So, what's your biggest pet peeve when you're out camping and riding around? Other than, I know that there's always the trash issue, but is there anything else out there that you guys have seen that kind of really bothers you?
I mean, obviously, the trash is the first thing that comes to mind.
Are people around when they are with their 4-wheelers and they are like
Yeah.
Respecting
Yeah.
people around. They are listening music so loud. They are not thinking about people around, and that's
Yeah.
annoying a bit.
Yeah, 4-wheelers, ATVs that quite often, they
Yeah.
like to blame us for saying we're destroying trails and whatnot, but it's the absolute opposite. Like, we're not the ones ripping around the corners at full speed. There's quite a few times I've had near collisions with ATVs just shooting around the corner at full speed, and then I mean, if not much is going to happen to my Jeep or to me, but they're going to be in a world of hurt if they're going to hit my Jeep, the steel bumper at full speed ahead. Probably
Yeah.
drunk. So
Yes.
I mean, always drinking and driving.
Yeah.
I don't want to be too stereotypical, but it is unfortunately very, very common.
Very common.
So the Bud Lights everywhere. They're not from us. They're not from Jeep people typically.
They're cans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we gotta drive our rigs home on the road, so we're not typically doing that, and we're careful with them because we gotta drive to work the next day. Yeah, so I think that would be the biggest pet peeve, would be disrespectful people, basically, no matter what they drive, but just disrespectful people, disrespectful of the environment, and disrespectful of other people using the trails.
Yeah, even if they drive Toyotas, they should be respectful.
Yeah, Misty.
I drive a Toyota.
Just going off the trail, doing stuff like that. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to climb up this
don't-
hill, I want to go over this, and drive up on this tree, and like, really, okay,
Yeah,
Rude.
yeah.
Super rude.
very disrespectful.
Bats Off Road is asking bucket list trip destination.
Yes, that list is a growing list nonstop.
Nice.
Yeah, Iceland is a big
More
one.
expo.
Ooh. More expos on the list now.
Yeah, no, exactly. More. Yeah, definitely Iceland. We've been talking lately about South America. We'd love to go down to Argentina. And obviously then also Alaska would like to go. I've been in the Yukon before once because I had a friend of mine there, and we did a really short stint into Alaska for a couple of days, well, one day. So just dipped my toe in the water there, but definitely want to go back at some point. There's just so much. There's so much to see and do, and so little time.
Yes.
I think Alaska is on a lot of people's bucket list.
Yeah, for sure.
To hit. I mean, for us, we'd
I'd
like
go
to go
back
up
in a
into Canada
heartbeat.
also. Yeah, haven't been up to Canada, so need
Yeah.
to do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, even just Colorado. I'd love to go see Colorado, Montana.
Oh gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
we've been to Colorado a couple of times. Bats Off Road says Iceland would be cool. Alaska is at the top of my list. New Zealand is a close second. Oh Lord,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be expensive real fast. Um,
That's only because you're married to him.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that after this. Let's see. Old man, old truck. Favorite trip you've ever done and why?
Um,
So many.
yeah, it's quite a few, but I think it would have to be Gaspésie last year. Why? Because if you look at the peninsula, there's really just one main road that goes around the edges of along the coast, and then inland is all just mountains and trees and forests and teal turquoise waters everywhere. Very, very little people and lots of just logging road trails, forest service roads. It's a paradise for overlanding and dispersed wild camping. It's absolutely amazing, and there's so much to discover. It's so large, so much to see. So that's why I can't wait to go back. Yeah, the
Wow.
water there, it's
Yeah,
it's unreal. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen a series on YouTube that's out, but there's one swimming hole that we were shown by a local, and it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and for myself as well, I really enjoy. It was my first real trip with Pixel, my Jeep, and it has been quite challenging for me because like it was my first real trip. So he brought us in a in a mountain, and yeah, it was pretty sketchy, and it was scary also, like because the wind was picking on the Jeep. Oh my God, it was terrible. And yeah, so it was a journey for myself, and yeah, I was proud to have done it, and
Mm.
yeah, I would love returning there and doing it again. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Gaspésie, it's very beautiful. I come from Quebec. I have never been there before, and I recommend. It's a place to see for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And while you get plenty of
Isn't
dirt
it funny
roads,
that a lot of times you don't even explore? Go ahead.
yeah. I just want to add, there's tons of dirt roads, so there's no shortage of that. But also, you get actual technical trails as well, like episode 7 or 8 it is from the I think 7 from the series.
Mhm.
Where we're going up this mountain that she was talking about, which was pretty wild. So it's just such a good mix of everything. And if you go with it with a good team, a good crew, it's such a fun time.
That's awesome. We're going to take a quick break and hear from one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
It's the expo.
More expo. Go there.
God, be there or be square.
I just added that, ad-libbed a little. Be there or be
Mhm.
square.
Be there.
Very cool.
2 weeks. Let's
So I
go.
just want to remind everybody in the audience, you're welcome to ask questions if you guys have any questions for our guests. We have quite a few people watching, which is awesome show. So what do you guys think would be something cool that people aren't doing currently regarding overlanding or off-roading, exploring? Combining that with activities, or do you think that would be, is there anything else you guys think would be really cool to incorporate into kind of an overlanding adventure? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. I mean, we like to go on hikes a lot. Steph loves hiking, and so we'd like to incorporate that at least a little bit. Local hiking, or any other activities that you can do along the way. Anything in the outdoors, be it kayaking, canoeing, even if you just go for a swim in a lake somewhere or go fishing or something. Yeah, I think you just get out of your Jeep or your vehicle, whatever, for a while and do something else as well.
Yeah, and I've seen people do everything from mountain biking to fishing, like you said, kayaking, whitewater rafting, biking, regular biking. I mean, I think it's great. Hiking, it's great to incorporate those other outdoor activities with your art. So I was just curious if you guys had tried something new that maybe we wouldn't think, oh, I didn't think about trying to do that while you're overlanding. But yeah, I mean, even skiing, things like that. So there's a lot of things that you could combine with that, I think.
Yeah. I think it totally depends on what you're into. That will determine even which routes to do. I mean, if you just want to drive, then how are you going to determine really, other than by name on a map, where you want to go, what you want to do. But if you have things along the way that you want to do, like certain hikes in certain places or certain sites you want to go see, that kind of determines it makes the route for you, and then you just kind of connect the dots in between and see what sort of trail options you have between point A and point B. So actually makes things easier.
So exactly. And we're currently on a ghost town kind of gig thing where when we're overlanding, we're checking out different ghost towns and historical places. That's kind of, we have 3 children that we school on the road, so that's kind of our thing lately. We're really, really into ghost towns.
Yeah, that's
but
cool.
Anything you can do when you're out there is, fantastic.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, there's a few. There's like 2 or 3 more or less, at least locally famous sort of folklore / ghost stories here in New Brunswick, and so like they have also determined sort of the trips that I've done to go find those locations. Especially the Dungarvan Hoopa was like the one that I couldn't find much on it in terms of locations. When they did some research, and I found some indications as to the locations, which really are not published online, at least not very well. But having done that, I was able to found and kind of track down and narrow down where it might be, and so that led me down to explore the location of where the legend is, where the guy got. And it's not just a legend, because it's a fact that this was a cook in the I think 1700s from PEI. His name was Ryan, who came down to work in a lumber camp in New Brunswick, and in a winter storm, he ran out of food, and so he got killed. The boss killed him essentially. They say it was for his money belt, and then he just buried him, kind of just dished the body somewhere. And it said that he was haunting that site ever since, to the point where people could hear it, and then a priest came down from Renews to actually perform an exorcism on the site. That's called Dead Boy Spring and Hooper Spring. So there's 2 locations, this places that I found based on some research on. So there's actually a whole video on this that I did, and that has determined a few trips into that area as well. It's always cool to find some local knowledge, some folklore, just do some research, kind of learn the history a little bit, and kind of tailor your trip around something like that.
Absolutely. It's one of our favorite things.
We have several questions stacked up over here, so I'm going to start going through those.
Go, girl.
I know. I got to back up here a minute now. All right. Favorite piece of camp gear, and go.
Oh, it's got to be my garb.
I don't know. You're going to say that.
Yeah, there you go. Shameless plug.
Not to toot his own horn, but beep beep.
Oh, it's just useful. If it wasn't that, what would it be? Camp gear. Well, I suppose I got have a place to sleep, so I love my roof tents. I don't think I'm going to go back to ground tents anytime soon. So,
good one. Joey just has a comment. All outdoor activities seem to mesh with overlanding seamlessly, he says.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Agreed.
Greg, what is one thing that you always bring while overlanding? We know
shovel.
The answer is shovel. Yeah. 100% shovel.
Garb.
Yeah, that too.
Mine's a garb and a
I forgot it once.
Yes.
and a bath.
Uh-oh.
Once or twice, even.
Joey says, we are coming to Canada in July in Ontario, going around the top of Lake Superior. Any advice? What the heck? I didn't know you were going up there. We're having a talk.
Where have you been?
I don't know.
Unfortunately, I'm not very familiar with Ontario's overland routes. Haven't really been out there overlanding, so can't really give you much advice there. Sorry.
Perfect. Too bad, Joey.
Gotta
Too
wing
bad.
it, Joey.
Figure it out. Greg, what navigation do you use? Favorite app, map, or?
That's a good one. So I use my phone and I use Gaia app, Gaia GPS, which is hands down probably the best app there is. I know there. I probably shouldn't say that because I haven't compared it to say Onyx Road or. I know Trails Off Road has an awesome one as well. I was riding for Trails Off Road 4 years ago and doing trails for them, which is something I never really on purposely stopped doing. I just kind of didn't really find the time, I guess, to do it. It's a lot of effort to put into it. But they have a great software as well, great program and resources. Not much in Canada though, because other than the ones out here that I put in, as far as I know. But yeah, Gaia GPS, hands down.
I'm a
Yep.
fan as well.
We were in both.
We have as a backup, I always carry a back road map book, so a paper map, which has all the trails, snowmobile trails, ATV trails, hiking trails, everything in it. And they also make actually a layer in the subscription version of Gaia GPS for Canada, where they show all the trails as well. So it integrates into Gaia, and I love how you can make the maps, the opacity of the maps, how much you want to see of it. So I can have a blend of satellite and the maps. So I can see the satellite image, but I can also see the trails from the backroad map book kind of through. So it's really neat.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of all of the overlays in Gaia. I've used Onyx as well, and it's also a very good app. But I really, really like the crazy functionality that Gaia offers. Sometimes it feels like it's a little overwhelming until you learn it a little better, but it's pretty cool.
Well, I think Misty's is overwhelming because she has so many campsites on hers and stuff. You can't even see the map. Not even kidding. It's just this bunch of colors.
That might be accurate.
I'm like, what? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, we have routes and campsites and historic sites and everything on there. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I think my maps give Arla anxiety sometimes.
It's too much. Too much for me. I'm a simple.
Too much.
I need simple.
Yep.
Tell us about your little furry traveling partner.
Oh, he must have heard you because it's just coming right now. Zeus. Yeah, he's what?
He's coming.
He's coming. Oh, here's his name. Yeah, he's 9. Is he 9 or 10?
No,
9. Nah, I just got him 2 years ago. He's a rescue. He's a part half pit bull, half yellow lab. He's a pretty sweet guy. He loves jeeping. He loves going on trails. He's very well behaved. Mostly. Yeah, he just needs to be. I know in some videos people have some questions because they see the muzzle on and stuff, and it's just simply because if there's other dogs around, he's a rescue, like I said, so he has and he's a pit bull too, so, and he's got bite marks on his face, so yeah, he had a rough past. We don't really know what it is, but he's definitely had a rough past, and I'm pretty sure he was used before in fighting. If not, he was in a lot of scraps because he's got the scars to show it. So we'll just keep him away from other dogs. Keep him on a muzzle if there's other dogs around. Keep him on a leash. If he's under control, he's fine. But he's super people friendly. He's super he can. he loves going in a tent. He will ask me, he will beg to like climb on my shoulder, like carry me to the tent, and he's just so happy when he's in there. He's so proud, looking out the window, legs hanging out over the edge, and just like so excited to be in a tent. And he will ask to get down, and he will try to climb the ladder by himself as well. Like, so it's pretty good.
He says, "Dad, I'm ready for bed."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time for night.
Dog
Yes.
is the best at relaying
Yes.
security system. Probably true.
Oh yeah.
Probably true.
Oh yeah.
He seems very chill. He seems
Yeah,
like a very chill dog in your
Very
videos.
chill. Yeah, very chill.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before we went live about you rescuing him, and I think that's the thing to do, because there's so many animals out there that need homes, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really awesome that you opened your home to him.
Yeah, he's got really
So
bad
Steph,
separation
have you gone on
anxiety.
any? Oh, I did it again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just the lag. I'm sorry.
This
to
delay is
interrupt.
something.
Yeah. So go ahead, ask Steph.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I was just wondering, have you
I
done any solo trips yet, or do you plan to?
If I have done
Solo trips. Solo alone.
solo, no, not yet. No, and I don't think I would try because I am so new on this universe. So no, I don't think so. I will go with him, and for now, and we'll see for the future. But yeah, maybe it's something I can try.
Yeah, she does a lot of solo hiking. Well, at least
Yeah,
what she
solo
used to.
hiking,
Used to do a lot of solo hiking.
Yeah, I does. I did.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's something you have to work up to and be comfortable with, just like hiking and or anything else like that, you know?
Yeah.
For sure. You got anything else to ask, Arla? What you got? Anybody having any questions?
What upcoming trips do you have as far as taking groups out or letting them come along with you? I know you don't charge or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
So we have the South Shore Overland Rally coming up in May. It's something we've been doing for quite a few years now. I think it'll be the 5th iteration of it. It's kind of a spring shakedown sort of event after a long winter, and it's a good time for a group to get together. It's open to all levels, any beginner or experienced. It's usually the trip where I realize how much stuff I'm missing out of my setup, and to kind of get ready for the rest of the season. Get dialed in again. So that's coming up. It's a 2-night trip down to the South Shore. But the weather is finally starting to turn here. Snow is melting, and then hopefully, so far the weather has usually been bad for this trip almost every single year. So, but yeah,
Oh,
that's the next one coming up.
Fingers crossed for good weather.
And then we'll just do a bunch of
Yeah.
like weekend trips here and there whenever we can. We're gonna go back to Turtle Mountain because Steph hasn't done that one, and a lot of people haven't done that one. That a lot of friends that keep asking to go. So that'll be coming up as well.
Now, is that a more technical trail, Turtle Mountain? I mean, it
Yeah.
just seems like it. I mean, just from the wording.
Yeah, it's very, very technical. It's we call it basically New Brunswick's Rubicon Trail. It's obviously not as long, but it's still a solid 6 hour, or is it? Yeah, it's about 4 to 5 hours, depending on how fast or how slow, how big a group is of straight driving. There's never a moment where there's not an obstacle. So you can't. It's really a hiking trail, but it's wide enough to bring a Jeep on it, but just barely.
Oh.
And it's constantly. It's very exhausting, and well, it can be, I guess. It's a lot of fun too. But the first time I did it was right after I did 2 days of bushwhacking, essentially with the Jeep on a trail that didn't exist, and then straight into Turtle Mountain, and that was just a bit much. So after that, I was like, wow, I don't think I'll do this again. But obviously, I have done it since then, and I'm definitely going back again. But yeah, it's long, it's technical, rocks, trees, steep climbs, and a corkscrew at the end where it's really steep and turns. But then the views are absolutely unbeatable. The whole top is just a granite slab. It's pretty flat, and just all 360-degree views. And,
That sounds
Oh,
amazing.
wow. Wow.
Now, I'm assuming
does.
that you lead, are always in lead on these trips. Do you
usually.
also get out and do the spotting for those that might need a spotter as well?
Yeah. So whenever someone does need a spot, we provide radios to anyone that doesn't have a radio. So they just call ahead, and then if they need me to come out, me or someone else or Steph or whoever is available in the group, that can help out in that spot.
Awesome. I wish y'all weren't so far away.
I know.
Yeah.
Talking
It'd
about
be
these
fun to
places. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, in 2018, MSO Mountain State Overland came up here. Did a trip with them for 4 days. And ever since then, we still owe them a return. So they're waiting for us to come down and do a trip with them in West Virginia. So really, that's in the back of my mind a lot. Actually, I was talking about doing that this summer. I'm kind of glad now we didn't because plans changed big time. But it's still on the list of things to do.
Very
West Virginia's
cool.
beautiful. We've both been there,
Yes.
right? Right, Misty?
I love it.
It's beautiful there.
Yep.
Lots of beautiful mountains and stuff. But if y'all do make it down here, you have to let us know. We'll try to meet up or something.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, there's so much in the States I want to see.
It's crazy.
Mm.
We think the same thing about Canada. You know, going up, we have conversations about it all the time, going over the border and or whatever. It's just you really need to take a good month whenever you take a trip like that. Just like for y'all, you probably need to, you know, take a good month just to even see a small portion. Time and money. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Time and money.
The red. What's the red,
all you
Greg?
Need to come to Overland the Red. Misty can tell you about that.
So that is in Kentucky, and it's beautiful. It's in the Red River Gorge area.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually in October, I think like the third week of October. So when they do that, I think
Yeah,
this
it's
will be
around
the
rendezvous
second
time.
year or the. Yeah, it's a little bit. It's like a week after Rendezvous in the Ozarks, which you guys probably haven't heard of either. But it's
Well,
it's like the
I'm
third
aware.
week in October. Yeah, but it's in Kentucky, and you go through. The trails are pretty difficult there, where they at Overland the Red. But it's just a good time of camping and hanging out with people and hitting some trails. It's a lot of fun.
I would love to. I'd
And
love
the
to.
fall colors, are changing there around that time as well, and the Bluegrass
yeah.
Mountains. So,
Mm.
You can't really beat that either. So it's a
Yeah.
beautiful area.
Got 10 more years to retirement. Unless, I can sell enough carbs each day to live off of it. But until then.
10 years. Man, that's not long at all.
No.
As long as I own Jeeps, I'll probably never retire. Let's be honest here. I mean, it is just empty every pocket.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
Well, I'm hoping to just spend it on fuel at that point.
oh,
Yeah, that's our favorite.
Fuel and tires.
Yeah, would love
Yeah.
doing it actually.
Yeah.
tires. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right.
We're going to have to do that this summer.
Tire.
We do. Get
More
tires
overland
out.
gear.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show tonight. We've had a really good time chatting with you, and you guys were great guests. I really enjoyed it, and I hope that we can meet up sometime and share a campfire, and maybe you'll make it down to the U.S. or we'll make it up to Canada.
Absolutely.
Thanks again.
Yes. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Have a great night, everyone.